ERi-TV news broadcast crew and I, Delete Sahaya, are now ready for your daily news briefing at 10:30 local time. But first, let us catch up with the major headlines. President Isaias receives message from President of Zimbabwe. Eritrean delegation addresses African Committee to experts in session. India and South Korea set 50 billion trade target. Proceeding with our reports. President Isaias has received a message from President Emmerson Mnangagwa of the Republic of Zimbabwe. The message delivered by Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel Bulukani sought to Eritrea's support for Zimbabwe to become one of the non-permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. At the meeting held in Denden Guest House, President Isaias underlined the imperative of Africa to embark on expensive venture of value addition for processing its vast natural resources, which will, in turn, enable the continent to assume its rightful place in the global order, as well as enhance and accelerate mutual partnership and cooperation between all of the African countries. In a press statement of the Eritrean news agency, Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel Bulukani expressed Zimbabwe's readiness to promote and work out concrete program of bilateral cooperation with Eritrea and further consolidate coordination and alignment of the respective positions at the mutual forums such as African Union and the United Nations. The event was attended by Mr. Osman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs. A multi-sectoral Eritrean delegation has a virtual address the 47th session of the African Committee of Experts in the Rights and Welfare of Children on 21st April. The delegation presented a comprehensive progress report detailing of the national successful integration of modern legal protections with community-based social practice and safeguard of rights of children. The 15-member Eritrean delegation led by Mr. Mheres Afisahaye, Director General of Social Welfare at the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, was composed of officials from the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, Education, Health, Foreign Affairs, Justice, National Union of Eritrean Women, and the Embassy of State of Eritrea in Ethiopia and Permanent Mission of the African Union Economic Commission for Africa. In its address, the delegation highlighted a transformative shift in the national legal framework, prioritizing community conciliation, council composed of respected community members, coordination of implementation, reporting of child protection and social protection programs at the national, regional, subzonal and administrative area levels, delivering more efficient and effective results in undertaking of safety measures that look after rights of women and children. The delegation highlighted that significance of the milestone in the public health have been registered, and as a result of the under 5 mortality rate has declined from 39.1% thousand lives birthed in 2020 to 33.8 in 2025. Eritrea continues to lead the regional in immunization, maintaining a 97% coverage rate from Penta 3 and 99.5% for measles vaccine, as is met criteria for the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, has introduced hepatitis B birth dose vaccine in 2025, marking a new phase towards the total elimination of vaccine-preventable infections. The delegation explained that these health gains were underpinned by primarily healthcare, financial protection, and community-based programs. Approximately 80% of the population now resides within 5 and 10 kilometers of health facilities. Services for major communicable and key non-communicable diseases are provided free of charge. Addressing the holistic need of child, the delegation highlighted 95% of the urban population and 79% of the rural population now have access to safely managing drinking water. Innovations such as a minimum integrated household package and local aquaculture program in the new dams are diversifying diets and ensuring food security. The delegation further informed the Education Sector Plan 2026 to 2030, aimed at ensuring that every child completes high primary education while substantially increasing national literacy. Net enrollment rate at the elementary level has reached 81.7%, while youth literacy has reached an impressive 93.3%. Through these strategic pillars of access, quality, and equity, Eritrea continues to build a resilient education system capable of meeting the challenge of the future. Regarding eliminating harmful practices and supporting vulnerable citizens, the delegation reported that in 2025, community mapping exercise revealed that 45.6% of the surveyed villages have successfully eradicated female genital mutilation, with 4 subzones declaring entirely free of the practice. This achievement is attributed to sustained community engagement and promotion of positive social norms. For children with disabilities, the government has translated the Comprehensive National Policy for Persons with Disability into local language to ensure broad public awareness. Strategic focus is currently being placed on improving livelihood and providing mobility aid to ensure full integration into the secondary school system. The delegation also gave proper answer to questions that were raised by participants of the session. The chairman of the Committee of the Experts on the Rights and Welfare of Children commended the progress that Eritrea has registered in the rights and welfare of children, as well as the active and constructive engagement of the Eritrean delegation. The 25th anniversary of the beginning of Bidawit language radio program in the Voice of the Masses, Dimtsa Hafash, has been commemorated on 17th and 18th April in Adresser, Fortosawa subzone in Gashbarka region. At the event, discussions was made focusing on the revival of the Bidawit culture, significance of mother language education, eradication of harmful practices, as well as female participation in the education and Bidawit radio program. The commemorative event was attended by Ambassador Muhammad Ali Huri, Governor of Gashbarka region, and Colonel Jonas Butamlach, Commander of Border Patrol Command, religious leaders, village elders, and Sudanese invited guests. Mr. Girmay Berhe, Director General of Radio at the Ministry of Information, said that the government of Eritrea considered the significance of media outlets in the daily lives of society and the nation-building process, has initiated radio programs in all languages of the country, and that the Bidawit language radio program has been the result of that. Speaking at the event, Ambassador Muhammad Ali Huri called for reinforced participation and contribution of members of the ethnic group for the development of the radio program, as well as the eradication of phenomena that negatively affect socioeconomic and cultural aspects. Mr. Bakhit Salah, head of the Bidawit radio program, presented reports on the journey of the program over the past 25 years and called for reinforced participation for its development. Research papers were also presented focusing on Bidawit language education, preserving the noble societal values and eradication of harmful practices, cultural development and challenge, as well as the role and participation of women. The National Confederation of Eritrean Workers branch in the Northern Red Sea region conducted seminars to workers in the port city of Massawa in connection with May Day, International Workers' Day, on 21st April. The seminar that was conducted by Mr. Idris Ali, head of the political affairs of PFDJ in the region, was focusing on the history of Eritrean workers' movement during colonialism, as well as the role of the influence of workers' organization in political and armed struggle for independence. Noting that strengthening organization has a significant contribution in boosting productivity and enhancing political awareness of individuals and society, Mr. Idris called for active participation. The participants on their part called for the continuity of the similar and producing promotional papers in current issues with a view to enhance the political awareness of workers. Straight ahead is our international news after a short break. Welcome back. India and South Korea have set a target to a nearly double bilateral trade to $50 billion by 2030. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi pledged to boost trade between the countries for about $27 billion now. The leaders vowed to strengthen supply chain, improve market access, and encourage greater investment. The Indian Prime Minister said the countries will tap into new opportunities for cooperation from chips to ships, talenting to technology, entertainment to energy. In this area of uncertainty, South Korean and Indian can become optimal, all-comprising cooperation partners to promote mutual growth and innovation, Lee added. The Asian nationals will try to expand industrial collaboration and boost trade and investment in advanced manufacturing, critical minerals, and nuclear energy, South Korean leader said. Bilateral trade and economic relations between New Delhi and Seoul gathered momentum following the implementation of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement in 2010. A nationwide mobilization against the U.S. sanctions continued on Monday in Venezuela, with National Assembly President George Rodriguez leading a rally calling for political and social unity. The mobilization is part of the national rally launched in April 19th by acting President Delcy Rodriguez, with events held in several states including Zulia, Táchira, and Amazonas. At the launch event in Zulia State, Delcy Rodriguez said Venezuela must overcome U.S. sanctions, adding that millions of children born during nearly a decade of economic restriction have faced limited access to basic social and economic conditions. The nationwide campaign includes marches and public events across the country and scheduled to conclude on Caracas on May 1st. Now let's report. Cairo has reclaimed 13 ancient artifacts, including rare vessels of statues that were illegally brought to the U.S. Egyptian Minister of Tourism and Antiques Sherif Fatah Attai said on Saturday that recovery reflects the country's continued effort to deport cultural antiques that were illegally smuggled abroad. The items were handed over during a ceremony at the Egyptian Consulate General in New York. The recovered objects include an upholstered jar of oil and perfumes dating to 7th century BC, as well as cosmetics containing shaped like animals from Middle and the New Kingdoms of the ancient Egypt. Also last year, Egyptian officials said 13 artifacts has been returned from UK and Germany. The items include mummy skull and hand, ankh and baboon-shaped amulets, a bronze horse's crown, and beheaded funerary mask. During the 19th and early 20th century, European colonial power systematically looted cultural properties across Africa. In many cases, art objects ended up in museums and private collections in Europe and North America. According to some estimated, up to 90% of the sub-Saharan African cultural heritage is now held outside the continent. Dear viewers, we have come to the end of tonight's news. Let's have a quick recap of the headlines. President Isaias received message from President of Zimbabwe. Eritrean delegation addressed African Committee of Experts session. Trump says it's highly unlikely to end ceasefire with Iran. India and South Korea set a $50 billion trade target. And that was the news from ERi-TV studios. This has been Sahara reporting. Thanks for watching and have a good night.